Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Auphanim. So, the world is changing and it's looking good for banking coin holders, XRP holders, XLM holders. Listen, the banking system is on the ropes. It's in a bad spot. They're doing terrible. And this is good for us because they're fighting tooth and nail to hold the banking coins back. They're fighting tooth and nail to hold blockchain back because they can't compete at this particular time. But what's happening is their lack of innovation, their lack of having a secure infrastructure is coming back to bite them. They're overwhelmed. That's number one. They're in debt. Most of them are in debt. The banks are doing terrible. They're hemorrhaging money across the board in a myriad of ways. And their high cost with intermediaries doesn't help. They're high cost, and then a lot of their customers, and not just their regular customers, a lot of their high-end customers are just fed up and tired, and they're big money people, so their opinion matters and it counts a lot. They're fed up and they want something different, okay? So a lot of them behind the scenes are also pushing for the new financial system. But I wanted to say this because last year, and now we're starting to see flashes of this year. And I think that you're only going to see more of this as time goes on. Last year, there were a lot of redacted things happening to the banks. This was somewhere in New Zealand, somewhere in Australia. You can look this up. Around the world, something was happening to banks. I'm not going to say what it is, but you can look that stuff up. And their systems were shutting down. They couldn't handle what was occurring to them. And their systems were shutting down. Not only that, there were attacks, let's just say that, on some of those. Some of those weren't just shutting down because their infrastructure was terrible. Their systems are horrible. Some of them were being attacked, right? We're just going to say it like that. And by certain entities. And that caused them to shut down or caused them to not be able to give their customers money. And the customers went days and weeks without being able to access their money. Those customers are very unhappy. We're very unhappy with that, of course. But don't just think about the regular people. That also affected a lot of high-end customers. So it affected people across the board. This is prompting a feeling of distrust in the banking system more than it was already there. People distrust the banking system as it is, just because of the way that they operate. A lot of times the banks don't even have money on hand. They're too busy loaning out all your money and trying to make money off of your money. You understand how that works, right? Do you understand what banks do? How they loan your money out, or a lot of some of them, I don't know if they all do that, loan your money out, or they put your money into certain things. I'm just going to say it like that, so that they can see a return on investment and try to bring capital in, which doesn't matter anyway, because most of that is negated because of their high intermediary fees. They're literally canceling themselves out. It's like they don't know what they're doing, and which is mind-blowing to me, that these are the systems that everybody's trusting their money with. That they're systems where if you look at how everything is actually going, keep in mind, this is why they were bailed out a bunch of times. Keep that in mind, just in case you ever question what I'm saying. They weren't doing too good. They weren't doing well, okay? But anyway, if you look at how those systems operate, it makes you question who's doing the mathematics. What? Who's running? They're allowing this to run? This is your business? But they have a lot of governmental assistance, a lot of governmental backing, so they're able to keep running. The new financial system is not like that. The new financial system puts you in charge of your money if you should choose to be. Of course, you have non-banking NBFIs, non-banking financial institutions like Ripple, Algorand Foundation, Stellar. You have those who can set up infrastructure and help. Then you have exchanges where if you wanted to hold your money on the exchange, you could. So you have, let's just use a popular one like Coinbase. Let's take Coinbase, where you pretty much can use your Coinbase like it's a bank account. They have a Coinbase card. You can store your money in USDC or USD. And it's pretty much a bank account. You have your paychecks sent right to Coinbase. I don't know if that I would advise you to do that, but I'm just saying there's alternatives, right? So people are looking at things like that. And it puts the power in your hands. Keep in mind, Coinbase is FDIC insured, so it's pretty safe. It's pretty safe up to a certain point. It's like, better know how much money they're insuring. If you're big money, you might want to know how much money they're insuring, okay? I think there's a limit if you're big money. But I'm just saying, the new financial system that is rising, it gives people more freedom and more security. I know a lot of people would say it's insecure, but like I said, you do have offerings like Coinbase that are insured. That's pretty safe. It's insured just like a bank account. People are very dissatisfied with that. So now we saw the same thing happen in a region, or the region above America, above United States, sorry about that, above United States, where their banks could not give people money or would not give the people their money. They couldn't access their money, ATMs, there's bank runs happening. I think that's what happened. There were bank runs. This happened also in the United States when the redacted happened in the United States, right? The redacted, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? The redacted happened. So when that happened, there were bank runs. A bank run is when everybody runs to the bank, start pulling out their money. The bank doesn't have that much. It doesn't have all of your money just there on hand. It doesn't. So they have to shut down. They can't give everybody the money. So the ATMs run out of money. Inside the banks themselves don't have the money. They have to close their doors, shut their machines down. They can't have that. So then you can't get your money. So bank runs are a huge threat. This doesn't happen in the new financial system. This is not going to happen. This is why liquidity pools are so important, right? So the money's always there. The money's always on hand. Then you have offerings like USDC where they're matching you dollar for dollar. Whatever you put in, they have. I love that, by the way. I really, really do. Whatever you put in that dollar, they have that dollar. So those types of things are not going to happen in the new financial system, which is making the new financial system desirable to everyone across the board. Offerings like XRP are going to be delicious across the board. Now, I understand XRP wants to concentrate on the banks, but then that just sort of passes the ball anyway to other offerings like Hedera, Algorand, XLM. They're all a part of the same family and going to work together. That's why they're interoperable. This is one system. We're just looking at it as though it has different faces. They're all going to do different things. There's enough money, by the way, there's more than enough money for all of the banking coins in the banking coin family. More than enough, okay? So no need to fear each other. There's an interoperable system. All of them, in my opinion, are going to have various degrees of parabolic runs and see very healthy gains. In my humble opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But you have this going on in the world, and this is one of the reasons why banking coins like XRP are going to take off. People are ready for something new. Now, all it takes is both regulatory clarity as well as good advertising, which of course is going to be held off. Most of these non-banking financial institutions or foundations like Algorand or for-profits also like Ripple, they're not going to advertise heavily while their protocol can't even be used yet. The protocol that they want to push can't even be used yet. What sense would that make? Here, we have this protocol you can use. Here, you can have this bank account or something like a bank account. Store your money with us. Move your money with us. But you just have to wait a while until the government gives us the clearance, because nobody wants to use this just yet because they don't want the liability. They don't want a subpoena from the SEC or someone else. They can't say that. It doesn't make sense to put heavy advertising in unless you have a backing like Hedera, HBAR. Unless you have something like that. But I'm talking about as far as using it as a fiat currency rail to be moving massive capital back and forth, most businesses are not going to want to take the chance until there's regulatory clarity. So you can't have that heavy advertising just yet. But when they are able to advertise, people are going to love that. Especially the new generations. The new generations are ready to break free of all the old systems. I don't know if you're perceiving this or not, which is good when it comes to making this new money. They're willing to put their new money into these systems, which are going to boost those prices up. And then that's very good for those who want to take profits, all right? So this is very, very good. And so the new financial system is going to explode because everyone across the board, including the banks. That's another thing I want to highlight. The banks themselves are tired of the intermediary fees. They're tired of being held down by those intermediary fees, and those legacy system connections. They're tired of it. That's why they've been looking into the new financial system. Doesn't it make sense? It makes sense, right? They want to thrive. They don't want to just survive. They want to thrive. They want to finally be bringing in so much money they never have to worry about anything ever again. They don't have to worry about being bailed out. Just handed some money. Here you go. Here's some money. Survive. They don't want that. They want to thrive, and they understand the potentiality that exists with using the new financial system. They're drooling over using XRP, XLM, Algorand, HBAR, and Cello. That's why, another reason why they've been testing them, trying to build infrastructure. There's so many companies building infrastructure, right? Considering them. If the old system was good enough, those banks would not consider them. They wouldn't. They would just ignore them, and XRP, XLM, they wouldn't have the reputations and the light that shined on them right now, because we wouldn't be able to say, well, they did a deal in the Ukraine. They have corridors in Mexico. They have corridors in Africa. We wouldn't be able to say that. But because a lot of the banks have, like, for instance, XLM with Bank van der House or Bank van der Hoyt. I can't remember which one it was, but the oldest bank in Europe. And then you have XRP with Bank of America and institutions like that. It gives them a certain air of prestige. Wow, they're working with this big bank with all of this money, one that the people love and utilize, is popular. The banks understand that was going to happen. Everything is planned, okay? So the future is extremely bright because the old system is collapsing. There is a collapse happening at this current time. You're watching it. It's just very slow. It's very slow, but it's all breaking down. And as one breaks down, another shall rise. That's just the way that it happens. It happens all the time. Old civilizations are built on top of the ashes of the old civilizations. And literally, this is why when you dig a lot of these archaeologists and paleontologists dig, they happen upon all these megalithic structures, buildings and houses and things like that everywhere, because they would fill in everything with dirt and build on top of it. This both happens physically as well as mentally. So now we're dealing with a system that both, of course, you're going to have physical things made and upgraded, but also is non-physical because the people have to accept it, but they're ready to move into something new. You see this happening everywhere. There is a whole movement, a whole generation of people that want to be in control of themselves and things that are associated with them. They want the control themselves. A lot of the other generations were content with institutions and authority figures being in control. That's not the case anymore, which is good for those prices. It's good to make money. This is the perfect environment to make money in because people are willing to take the risk to invest in this, invest in that. And if you're a profit taker, you're smart, you're watching charts, you know the catalyst, then yes, you know what's going to have a high parabolic run. And XRP is one of those particular coins, one of those particular protocols that stands to take off like a rocket, literally. And yes, it will look like they hit a switch, in my humble opinion. It will, because of the huge injection of money. But that's also scary because there's a lot of people that they don't really have a lot of XRP. And then on top of that, they're waiting. There's so many people. They have this wait strategy. I'm going to wait at the right time. And a lot of them miss out. You hear them talking about it all the time when they miss out. And they're going to wait too long. And then that flood of money, like a juggernaut, is just this tsunami of money is going to come into the XRPL. And that price is going to just shoot up. And those people are going to miss out on an opportunity. But that's their choice. It doesn't matter to me whether they buy or sell. It means nothing. The banks are going to move that price like you've never seen before. Never seen before. And when it does, it's going to be a lot of happy people out there. So anyway, I just wanted to share those thoughts because I think all of this is important and it's going to be very, very key in a lot of the next XRP videos I'm going to be putting out. And if everything goes according to plan and I'm able to pull up certain things, they should be very, very good videos. So keep that in mind. The old system is collapsing. The banks are doing terrible. They need a rescue. They need a life preserver. And we're throwing them one. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.